McDaniels and Ziegler out. I think Derek Carr made this whole thing spiral. Let's dig into it. Gronk was with Josh McD for like 7 seasons up in New England. A perfect partner to have on the show. We'll dish out some attaboys. Who knows who'll pop on? I did some digging, some reaching out. We've got news as it happens right here on the Bananas. Let's do it. Firings in the NFL. Of course, there's jobs. There's also like millions of dollars still being paid to Josh McDaniels, who did not bring it with this Raiders team. They decide mid-season to fire both the head coach, the visored one, McD, and general manager Dave Ziegler. This happened late last night. I woke up at 4 my time and was like, wow. Devontae Adams didn't get traded. Instead, they were like, Adams, what do you want done? Adams will do whatever you want. Get out of here. Former Giants star linebacker and friend. Antonio Pierce is like our boy. Like, he's taking over interim head coaching duties. Longtime Broncos and Bears personnel guy Champ Kelly is going to take over as GM. Now, there were reports, and these are coming out like fast and furious. So Mick Lombardi also being relieved of his duties. Quarterback coach Bo Hardigree is going to move in to that role now. So they're really making some changes here. They're really doing it all in Vegas. And it is kind of stunning, just on the face of it, right? Just 25 games. 25 games into this new regime after Mark Davis preached nothing. What did he say? All opposite. Patience. Let's be patient. Everybody be patient. Samuel L. Jackson, Jurassic Park, hold on to your butts. That was the energy that man was giving. This man, you can tell me what energy you think he gives over at Up and Adams Show. I think when you peel back the layers of this, it makes sense, and I'm going to give Davis credit for recognizing it wasn't working. He probably did a tough decision to make, and he did it before things got even more dysfunctional. When you have teams like the Bears making trades because they're already thinking about how do we get a step ahead in next year's situation when we have 110 plus, we got to get ahead of things on this roster. And when you see things like that happen on a Monday night game, bright lights and so on. By the way, and we don't celebrate firings. It's awful. There's humanity brought to the situation. But real quick for Antonio Pierce, I just love this for him. I love that. He gets to go. We had Daniel Jones on yesterday. Like, I think I'll play. Okay, well, you're going to face Antonio. You don't think he can Jeff Saturday this thing up? You don't think this team can totally get together and get excited and rally around a Raiders team facing the team that he won a Super Bowl with way back then? There's a lot of fun storylines. The Darren Waller of it all. There's lots to get into, and we will, of course, with our friend Rob Gronkowski in a bit. But we've seen Davis's frustration with some of the coaching decisions on the field this year multiple times. Okay, so if this is about that, yeah, that's not good. Never in the mock turtleneck. I don't know. I would get makeup all over that thing. Can you imagine? I mean, the tumult around this team has been noticeable. It's not just those little moments, but it's been getting worse and worse. And it sounds like Mark allowed his players to have input in this decision as well. I think that's interesting. It's definitely a positive thing, I believe, for the organization as they try to move forward. He said, what do you guys want? What shifts should we make? Should it be Pierce? Should it be Hardigree? What should we do? Given the other reports that the Raiders are heavily leaning towards, we got to get to this, and man, Gronk is perfect to have on because it's Jimmy Garoppolo. Okay, Jimmy G is going to be potentially, and they're leaning towards it. It sounds like he'll be benched for Aiden O'Connell, who we've seen in like one game. It wasn't great. It was against the Chargers. I was looking at some of that this morning. I don't know. It makes me think that this all, and just follow me here, it's sort of, the brain trust decision to say bye to Derek Carr, in my opinion, catalyzed all the things that came, right? Derek Carr, I mean, less than a year removed from a playoff berth. It was a real quick trigger on Derek Carr. Of course, it's not just one thing in the situation, but it does seem like that could have been the real start of things flipping the way that they did, especially when you go back and you look, which Hamilton did because he's a sick pup. I woke him up this morning and was like, get up, we've got news, baby! Just win, baby! And he went and he dug up Davis's comments, which he somehow remembered being like jumping off the page to him. So here's, what Hamilton found out when they decide to make the move from Carr, and that happened back in March. Davis talks about how he and everyone top to bottom in the org, they love Derek, and how he blamed himself. Mark Davis, the owner, is saying, I blame myself. I hurt Carr's development. Why and how? By not surrounding him with the best coaching situation right now. He didn't just say that. The accountability, mea culpa, out of an owner about how he also apologizes to Derek Carr for not building a better team around him in those quotes. Go look at them. They're very telling. And that's well above and beyond the usual sort of goodbye, we love him, he's a great player, kick him out the door, see ya, bye, see ya, let's move on. It didn't really seem like Mark Davis wanted to let Carr go, okay? So for McDaniels and Ziegler to say, no, we're all in, we'll go, my boy from New England, my Jimmy G, we're gonna make things happen. I mean, it had to work. It had to work for Josh McDaniels to keep his job. And obviously, saying it didn't work it didn't come close. It didn't come close to working. And beyond that, it seems to have sort of tarnished the relationship with the team's best player, who you brought in because of Derek Carr. So Adams didn't come to Vegas because of either of those two or, the new sphere. Like, Devontae Adams wasn't like, oh, I could go watch U2 every weekend. No! He came to play with his boy, Derek Carr, and he's miserable with what's gone on there. So, and by the way, we had Marcel Reese on the show yesterday who just would not stop talking about how this team needs to work through the run game. There's Josh Jacobs elements to this as well. There's Chandler Jones stuff. It has been messy all around, and it did feel like it was time for a change, so I give Davis a lot of credit. And for more on this, and of course, we want your thoughts, guys, at Up and Adams Show. Let me just quickly, before we even get anywhere, and we will have, by the way, Ronnie Stanley on the show as well. We're very excited to talk to him about some good stuff that he's doing. Carr has top four. The problem with McDaniels is you got a top pass rusher, you got a top run game, the guy who lifted the trophy for the rushing title last year, doing the rounds at Radio Row at Super Bowl. You've got the high price, like outside, I know I'm talking about A.J. Brown and what he's doing. Like, Devontae Adams is the best receiver in the National Football League right now, make no mistake. You've got all these pieces to not make it go. It had to happen. What does it mean for them going forward? What does it mean for them this weekend? Over at FanDuel Sportsbook, guys, nothing has changed. The odds haven't changed. I asked them this morning. I asked the overlords over at FanDuel. Nothing has changed from at least what it looks like up against what looks like is going to be our guy, Daniel Jones and company. Josh will return to New England, one person says. I don't know about that, but you know who might know about that? Mr. Rob Gronkowski. Gronk, welcome to the show. We got news. Unfortunately, it's coaching firing news. It's never that fun.
Yeah, no, it's never fun to hear that, but it's a business. The NFL is a strict business, to tell you the truth. If you're not winning, you're going to be out. It goes with a NFL head coach. It goes with assistant coaches. It goes with position coaches. It goes with the players as well that are performing out on the field. If you're not performing, if you're not up to par, they're going to move on to the next situation. That's just how that nature of the NFL is. It's never good to see that part of the nature, but that's also how competitive the NFL is as well. And it keeps every team on their toes and it keeps every team firing, and it puts the best product on the field as well, I feel like.
You have a lot of connective tissue to that Raiders team because there's a lot of former Patriots on there. McDaniels, they took a lot of guys over. Hoyer, there's a long list. What can you tell me about what you knew was going on in that locker room, what you were seeing on the field?
I don't really know much that's going on with the Raiders. I'm not really in that much contact with any of the players that I played with that are on the current rosters for the Raiders right now. But I thought they were going to definitely have a better year this year and build off from last year. They went into the offseason. They put the pieces together that they needed to. They went and got the quarterback, Jimmy, who's been under this system for quite some time now, since his rookie year, and very familiar with Josh McDaniels as well. A couple other players that are very familiar with Josh McDaniels and his system. So it's kind of a lot of guys that know how to win, and then adding other players like Devontae Adams. They got a pretty solid defense with a couple, with Max Crosby leading the way, who's an absolute stud. I love watching that guy play. He plays lights out with his heart. He's definitely a main focal piece that will never leave. You don't ever want that guy to leave your organization. So it's very surprising to me to see this situation, but I would definitely say it starts at the top with the head coach. I mean, it's a trickle-down effect. Mark Davis wants to win. He'll do anything to win. I'm not sure if he's doing it the right way or if he just keeps missing, with the head coaches. I'm not sure. I know he wants to win. He says it. You can tell he wants to win. So he's moving on. Instead of starting all over again with, all the type of players you're bringing in, he's just starting over from the very top.
You were with McDaniels in New England from 2012, I believe, to 2018, a long time. And just the surprise, I mean, the results weren't there on the field, but you also, what happened with the Broncos when he got then there's this whole, we're going to have to get into this, the whole Belichick, the tree and how it doesn't work and everybody. What is it about McDaniels that makes it hard for him to have success as a head coach?
I would say, well, first off, unbelievable offensive coordinator, knows his football inside and out, knows his offensive scheme inside and out. There is no doubt about that, but that does not mean it's going to translate into being a great head coach. And I would just say this, that sometimes once in a while I saw it that he kind of rubs guys with his style and his demeanor the wrong way. And that might have carried into being a head coach at both situations with the Broncos and now with the Raiders. So just the demeanor that he has might not be working as a head coach.
But is it the kind of thing where, you know, because like Bill Belichick has that demeanor. It's known, we see it, you talked about it. It's like we joke about it. But he's got like that. He was the head coach of championship winning teams. Whereas like Josh has the pedigree, he has the rings as a coordinator, but not as the head. Like what are the qualities that he either doesn't have, or if you're comfortable saying that he does have, that don't translate into that head coach position that makes him a strong ass offensive coordinator, but not the best, potentially at leading a team?
I mean, he did a great job when I was in New England.
Yeah.
We won a couple of Super Bowls with him. I'm not there, so it's really hard to tell when you're not there. I'm not there when he was with the Denver Broncos, and now currently I'm not there while he was just with the Raiders. I would say his demeanor and style definitely worked under Coach Belichick while he was the offensive coordinator. He definitely got the attention of all the players. He got the details of what everyone needed to do. But, it wasn't like, oh, we're going out there to play for Coach McDaniels. We're going out there to play for the organization. They'll go play for Coach Belichick, who's leading the way. So it's a tough situation when you're not there. So I don't fully understand it, what's going on. But he's just, in my case, what I'm seeing, he's not riling up the players to play to their best of their potential. And that's a struggle right there if you're not getting that done.
And then you've got Jimmy Garoppolo, who you know well, and he's struggling to sort of connect with his receiver, who's the best wide receiver, who's clearly, frustrated. We don't have to talk to him to know that. But they're talking about sort of benching and moving away from Jimmy G for Aiden O'Connell, this kid who's got like very little experience, doesn't know what's going on. What's up with Jimmy G out there?
That's a tough situation right there because you just paid him, $26 million a year, and next year probably has to be guaranteed as well, and you're going to bench him midway through the first season. I don't think that's a great idea. I would say my former U of A alumni, Antonio Pierce, he's coming in. He might fire everyone up.
Yeah.
Yes, they're down Arizona. No doubt about that. I actually got something we can talk about with Arizona this weekend. But Antonio Pierce may fire up the guys. He may fire up Garoppolo. I'm actually very surprised he's struggling to this degree. I mean, he knows the system, knows McDaniels, knows what he was getting into when he signed. They got Devontae Adams around him. They got the tight ends as well, in a veteran and a rookie who's not bad. You got Josh Jacobs. It was mind-blowing to me that they're struggling this bad. They had 160-something yards, somewhere around there last game on Monday night. That's not going to get the job done at all. I don't know why he's struggling either, because he when he was with New England, he got the job done. He's not the quarterback that's going to drive you down the field with absolutely no one on the roster, but he's the quarterback that's going to manage the game well with the pieces around him, and he's not doing that as well either. So there's something in that organization that's not firing up these players to go out and play. The only guy that is Max Crosby once again. That guy's on fire every week, no matter who his coach is going to be, but there's no one else that's fired up to play, and that's a situation that's got to change. And obviously Mark Davis thought it was Josh McDaniels.
Devontae Adams looks fired up to play. He looks fired. He just looks fired up, and the unhappiness is sort of shining through because he's not getting the ball. What does Jimmy Garoppolo might be benched. What does Jimmy Garoppolo do? You're saying he had it. You're surprised he doesn't have it. Is it injuries? Is it, are we sort of intimating that, he doesn't really want to play? What does he need to do to get back to the success that you think that he can have? And he is due $11 million fully guaranteed next year, like you said.
Yes. All right, $11 million fully guaranteed next year. So then maybe that's a situation where they're already seeing him. All right, this year's already down the drain. Let's get Aiden O'Connell in there and let's get him going. Let's see what he's got, because $11 million, you can get off the hook for $11 million. People will eat that now with the salary cap that's out there now if they want to move on. That's not that bad. So that could be a possibility, but I'm not sure. That's going to have to play out. But to get him back on track, that's a tough situation. I would say that injuries probably have to deal with it a little bit. When you keep getting injured, you really don't have the confidence every time you step out on the field. He had the back injury. He had all the concussions last year in San Fran. He had the ankle injury and all that. So that definitely plays a big part, because then you're thinking about it when you're out on the field. I've been to that stage before in my life. You're thinking, I don't want to get injured. And guess what? That's when you get injured. That's when you lose all your confidence. And I would say he's kind of in that stage right now, being the quarterback. He's dropping back, thinking about injuries, thinking about, whoa, how can I not get hit? What's going to happen? And then boom, you're done for. You can't throw the ball to who you want to. You can't think as quick as you want to be thinking.
Do you feel knowing Josh McDaniels, and you didn't, the word culture comes up a lot with these situations, the culture with Josh. Do you like empathize with him? Do you feel for him in this moment?
You know, I feel for him a little bit, you know, emotionally. But then if you really think about it at the end of the day, this guy signed a 6-year deal as a head coach, and he's going to be paid out for those 6 years. So he's getting head coaching money for the next 4 years of his life. That's total BS, Kay. Like, that's absolutely absurd. These coaches should only be getting contracts that are like halfway fully guaranteed. I mean, us players, we're busting our balls, and we get years fully guaranteed out of a 6-year contract. These guys get 6 years totally guaranteed. So I don't feel bad for him at all in that sense. The guy's going to be living life. He can go to the beach for the next 4 years and at a 5-star hotel and not have to worry about that bank account and bring his whole family with him. But
where do you think he's going? Where do you think he's going? What's the future for Josh McDaniels if you had to guess?
I would think he's got to go to the Spear first in Vegas. I live that experience. Everyone that tweets about that Spear, I feel like they're very, very happy.
Did you say Spear?
Yeah, you got to go to the Spear. It's an unbelievable experience. So you got to stop there first, because I know he didn't go there at all, because he's definitely.
Does he go back to New England? That's what everyone wants to know.
Oh, all right. Does he go back to New England? I mean, that's safe. That's the safe zone for him, I would say possibly. I feel like Billy O'Brien may be out of there after this year. So if that's the case, I think Josh McDaniels comes back as offensive coordinator in New England. That's for sure. And another thing, I feel like he's stressed a little bit, Josh McDaniels. When he was the offensive coordinator, you could tell he came in ready to go, always fired up, always happy, like always ready to go. And just looking at his face now and seeing like him as a head coach, he seems very, very stressed since he's been to the Oakland, not the Oakland Raiders, since he's been with the Vegas Raiders.
The Vegas Spheres out there in Vegas. You really think, how certain are you, or how likely is it that Bill O'Brien's gone?
I feel like, he's going to take an opportunity. He's kind of a head coach guy, I feel like he's going to take an opportunity somewhere else. I mean, I have zero sources. This is just me coming up with it, because I was still very surprised he went to New England. So I can still see him doing a 1 or 2 year deal and being right out of there. And then McDaniels coming in once again.
Gronk, do you think that Bill is just like, and I know he's not having like the best year, but do you think part of him's like, come home, come? He's like puts his phone ringer on high and just like leaves it and just waits for Josh to call him, Matt to call him. Bill, how does that go with Bill?
It's like he's got some special sauce. It's like he's got like 20 ex-girlfriends and they all still call him every single day.
Well, why can't they move on and have success? Why can't they get their life together with some other dude on some other city?
Because Bill has the magic juice that he doesn't share. That I don't know. That they leave and he knows they're all going to come back. And same with the coaches. They all leave and then they all come back eventually. It's It's mind-blowing. It's hard to describe. I don't know. I don't have the answer for that. I'm just glad I'm not in that category, Kay.
I mean, you've never had to deal with this.
Baby.
You've never had to deal with this.
Go back. I want a championship. I got to show what's up.
It's 4 Super Bowl rings. You've never had to deal with this sort of tumult, this sort of like a wake up on a Wednesday morning on Gronk Day of all days, all hollowed Gronk Day, to have a coach, a GM, an OC, all of this stuff happening. Like you're benching your quarterback. Like you never had to deal with any of that. But if you had, how much would it mean to you? And what does it mean that Mark Davis reportedly went to his team? Went to his players and said, what do you guys think? What should we do? What moves do you want made as far as the Hart agree, as far as the Antonio Pierce and all of that? What would that mean to you? What does that say?
Actually, that says a lot by Mark Davis. And like I said, he wants to win. He wants to win now. And he's not just taking opinions of the coaching staff that he hires. You got to go in. You're the guy at the very top. You got to go in and see what's going on. It's like owning a business. You can't just talk to the CEO if you're the owner. You got to go and talk to everyone. You got to get the details of what's truly going on. Everyone has different stories. So if he's talking to the players, they're going to tell their story, their side. So it's very cool of Mark Davis. It shows he cares. It shows he cares about the opinions of everyone in the organization, and he's going to do what's best to get that organization back on track. So I respect him for going to the players as well and asking them for their opinion on what should be done and what they want to see be done and who they want as the next head coach. And Antonio Pierce, I think, is a great intern coach for sure. I think they're going to win some games under him. They're going to be fired up.
Do they win against the Giants? It's the team he won a Super Bowl with. You know Antonio Pierce. I know Antonio Pierce. We saw Jeff Saturday last year get this Colts squad on a win. That's, you've never experienced it because you just, you lived a nice charmed life for a long time in the NFL. But this stuff happens and guys get juiced, like you're saying, and it pulls together. If you look over at FanDuel Sportsbook, Gronk, they've told me this week, I was texting at like 4 a.m., Raiders-Giants, the spread hasn't changed at all. It's still Raiders -2.5, which is interesting. But speaking of FanDuel, Gronk, we've got an odds boost for Thursday Night Football to share right now. So let's move on from this. Gronk odds boost. I'm on fire lately, just so you know. I called like NHL parlay stuff I had. We were killing it this week. We've got to win. It's Steelers and it's Titans. A lot of weird, funky injuries on both sides. But Gronk, what do you got first?
I got Will Levis going, right? It's Levis. Will Levis. That's right. I got Will Levis going for 1+ passing touchdown. He went in the second round when he should have been a first rounder, so he has a chip on his shoulder. And I also met him at a party one time at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And let me tell you, he's ready to throw these touchdowns. So I'm guaranteed that he's going to have a touchdown pass coming up. I
heard you liked Will Levis, and that's why this happened this way. He stood me up at the Kansas City draft the day he was drafted. We were supposed to have a big segment with him, and he got yoinked. And he fell in the draft, so he's got a chip on his shoulder. Bright lights tomorrow night. Okay, so you've got that. I like that. And I'm going to go Derrick Henry. I was at Tottenham Stadium going, where's Derrick Henry? Give him the ball. Delaney Walker popped on and said, give him the ball. Chris Johnson sat with me and said, can we give Derrick the ball? Let's do it. 50+ rushing yards. Okay, so that is it, guys. We're going to boost that bad boy. I can't lose. I'm not saying I can't. I can't lose. I'm killing it in the parlay game over at FanDuel Sportsbook. Go ahead and do that. We're going to take a short break here and more with Gronk because there's like 4 games we have to get to. We're going to preview an amazing Week 9 slate with our guy Gronk after this. Are we going to take a break? Yeah, let's take a break here. We got Ronnie Stanley on the show as well. He warned us about what this offense was going to look like with the Ravens, but here come Joe Burrow and here come the Niners. I wonder who called this yesterday. And then me. Yeah. All right. Very strong by Gronk.
Will Levis stood us up. You know who didn't? Devin Witherspoon, JSN.
Yeah.
Where'd they go in the draft?
Listen, I'm picking the Steelers.
Where'd they go in the draft? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I can't believe Tannehill didn't get moved. I thought that was going to happen.
Oh, Ryan Tannehill. What are we going to do with him?
A lot of great stuff there for Bailey. Hamilton, can I have Hamilton? We're going to give Gronk a breather here because he just crushed it. Bailey, you're good on that? Are you good on Bailey, Hamilton, like telling him things?
Yeah, we've been in contact.
Thanks.
I'm going to give him some more here during this next break.
We love to hear it. Okay, cool. So we did a two-leg parlay, and that's going to get boosted. Do we know? We don't know the odds though.
We don't know what it's going to get boosted to yet. It's at -143 right now. I can say for certainty, based on what I've been told, it's going to go into that plus territory. So it's going to be a pretty good return there for something that based on what we've been seeing, as you said, it looks like it has a good chance to hit. So. Yeah. It's going to be exciting.
Boost it! Thank you, FanDuel. We love to hear it.
No guarantees, of course.
No guarantees. Head coaches, guarantees. Parlays and FanDuel, no guarantees.
Jimmy Garoppolo, guarantees.
What's his Aiden O'Connell? I was watching some of what has he got? What do I need to know?
I mean, he was awesome in the preseason. So he's a rookie out of Purdue. Had a big time preseason, struggled in some limited action so far in the regular season when he's got in. But
when did he get in? Chargers game? What else? That was it, right?
Yeah.
Did he play other games, or did he just start the Chargers game? I have to go look.
Let me see if he went in. But
I don't think he went in. I think he just started the Chargers game. I know he was.
Yeah, there's a lot of. So he played against the Bears as well. In that one.
He did.
Yeah. But yeah, there's some exciting things there.
Out
of his game, especially when you go back and look at
that
preseason. It hasn't fully translated.
Me and Eric are gonna be crying on Sunday because we got Daniel Jones.
New coach like Jeff
Antonio
Saturday
Pierce
with
of
the
all
Colts
I'm
these.
gonna
last year.
get to Antonio.
That rallies the team.
Rally
Don't
around the
you do
flag
this?
of
They
that.
gave you a Super Bowl ring. Don't you mess this up. All right, here we go. All right, there's some things, as always, on Wednesday, some business to take care of. Of course, you got craziness going on in the AFC West with the firing of Josh McDaniels, with Ziegler out. A lot of shuffling. Jimmy Garoppolo's not even starting. What's going on? We'll learn a little bit more about Aiden O'Connell as we go along, but it's time for some underreactions, things that we are not giving enough love to, we're not talking about enough going into Week 9. We're halfway there. This is crazy. Halfway there till we're at the Spear. The Spear in Vegas. Okay, for the second year in a row, the 49ers made the biggest move of the trade deadline. They get Chase Young. This is the big news. It's a deal with the Washington Commanders for one of their third-round comp picks. And with this move, everyone's talking about it. But here's the part that we're underreacting to. Here's a little asterisk we need to pay attention to so you're smart at the water cooler talking to Dolores. We're underreacting to John Lynch, the GM. What he's been able to do in the trade market, chef's kiss. Okay, historically, we have not seen that many superstars dealt at the deadline. And again, 2 years in a row now. Big fish on the market. And he did it for an absolute steal. He gives up a third-round comp pick the Niners got for losing D'Amico Ryans and Ran Carthon in the art. Look, we're talking about that was off-season business, okay? They still owe Chase. You want to know what they owe Chase? $560K the rest of the way here. There's panic setting in over this Niners 5-3 start, right? Especially the past couple weeks, that past 3. Let's not forget last year, they were 3-4 before the Christian McCaffrey thing happened. The biggest in-season trade in NFL history, said by me, and that totally transformed San Francisco's offense, which we also happened. Who made that? Lynch. Lynch was like, yeah, let's do that. Let's make this deal and turn our entire season around, our entire future. And I'm not sure Chase Young is going to be that exact level of impact, but the bar is very high with what CMC did. But I don't think you can say that it's not going to be similar. And we showed this yesterday in projecting. This is the trade that should happen. We said it. We do this, Niners, do this. And we're going to show it again here. We're going to run it back. The defense has taken a step back under Steve Wilkes. Everybody knows it. We don't have to dwell on it right now, okay? Bringing Chase Young in during the bye week, it's going to change the team, the whole complexion of the defense. They really got the bye. That's another underreaction. They got the bye at what a steak got thrown into their cage, okay, in the NFL. Unbelievable, perfect moment and juncture of the season. Kyle Shanahan already said they're going to use the time to tweak their approach. And I think not 1 week, but 2 weeks to get Chase Young acclimated and ready to go. We know Chase Young. We know what he has. We know what he can do. It's Defensive Player of the Year vibes. Come on. They're going to get healthier over that stretch, too. We'll talk to Debo on the show tomorrow. I think we're about to go on another run with the Niners. And it all starts with, and should be credited to, John Lynch and his aggressive, big swinging. I almost said. Things get crazy on Gronk Day. Big swings at the splash of trade deadline season. All right. We're also, I think, underreacting. Let's do this. Cowboys kicker Brandon Aubrey. What he's doing. Yes! I'm talking about a kicker. Because if there's one fan base that understands the importance of kicking, it is Dallas. Remember the story of the playoffs last year? Brett Maher going 1-6 on extra points and pretty much everything falling apart. They move on from him this offseason, knowing fully and well the kicking position is so choice. In the words of Ferris Bueller, so choice. They need it. And it could obviously swim or sink their hopes as a contender in the NFC. The Cowboys decided to go all in on a former professional soccer player turned USFL kicker, okay? Turned software engineer, this is true, named Brandon Aubrey, okay? The move has been an incredible success and not enough people are talking about it. He's a 28-year-old rookie. He boomed. Gronk, this is like the tape Gronk's gonna watch if we run back the kick at halftime this year, okay? He booms his 58-yarder against the Rams on Sunday, follows it up with another that put him in the NFL history books. Look at this. Aubrey's 18 for 18 so far this season. That ties the NFL record for most consecutive makes to start a career. That's a great story. Okay, not only just that he found his calling after nearly giving up his dreams as a professional athlete. Really think about that. Let that sink in. Or really that his wife is the one who convinced him to try kicking. She said, hey, like MLS, sure, maybe try this. Walk into my office. Come, and he did. That's a great story too. The opportunity to do it for America's team, sorry, Marissa, in Dallas. That's great, and credit to him and his work ethic, and credit to the Cowboys brass for saying this is unconventional, this is a little weird. Let's give this 28-year-old rookie a try, and let's see if he can break that record and hit his 19th straight this weekend against the Eagles. I mean, this 28-year-old rookie, software engineer, soccer player is gonna waltz into the link and do this? It's not gonna be easy. I'm rooting for him. Aubrey has me believing. Okay, my other reaction. You guys can hit me up at Up and Adam Show for these. We've got Ronnie Stanley on the show. We've got Gronk coming back to break down some of these big games for this week. I think we're also underreacting. Let's go to the AFC North here. What is going on with the Browns defense? They are still the #1 total defense in the league by lots of numbers, and I think the defense is great, great, all overall. But we're starting to see things, you know, you're at the club, it's 4 a.m, the lights go on. You start to see some things. You start to see things as they really are, you know? You start to see, like, it's not, things, okay. You know, I'm just saying. They're not as dominant as they were. Remember the 2 games that kind of, like, vaunted them into the territory against the Bengals and Niners, and those games were, like, really sloppy conditions. Hamilton was like, we don't know what this Browns team is. We don't know what these teams facing the Browns are because the conditions are absolute slop. Horrible, you don't know. Objectively, if you look at it, Hamilton might have been right, and I was like calling him a weatherman, Doppler on the nines and making fun of him. But if you look at the last 2 games on the road, things are different. And check this out. The Browns, they're allowing 17 more points per game on the road this season, nearly 200 more total yards than what they've been giving up at home. So they're like literally 2 different defenses. Things that make you go, Overpowering opponents in the monsoon-like conditions in Cleveland and really being below average across the board away from the dog pound. What does it mean? That I think they're putting fake rain into the stadium. I think they're messing with I think they hired Storm from X-Men. Was it Halle Berry? I don't know. And they're like, make it as sloppy as possible here so we have an advantage. That's the moral of the story.
You think they got like a huge sprinkler, just pumping it into the stadium?
I wouldn't put it past them. Anyway, what does it mean for the Browns? Girl, what does it mean for the Browns this weekend? No, it means they're in for another big performance. They're back at home. They've got Storm up there doing her thing, lightning bolts, the whole thing. They got the Cardinals. Rain is on the rain. Cleveland, I feel bad for you. 17-mile-per-hour winds in the forecast. Aye. Week 10 at Baltimore. That's where we're going to see the real test. Just put these in your calendar, okay? The week at Baltimore. Myles Garrett's amazing. He's Mr. Jeepers, Weepers, Creepers, whatever. He's scary. He's the whatever. Browns fans should be afraid of what's happening to the squad on the road because it is 2 different worlds next. Did Gronk dress up for Halloween? Did he go out? Did he do anything? Can Gronk go anywhere? Oh, gosh.
What in the...
Is this Rob Gronkowski? Is this true? Gronkowski. Oh, wait, what is happening? Cow pose, yoga. I was not ready for that. Goldfarb, that was a 5 a.m. conversation with you, and I forgot about that. That was good. Those were great underreactions. Let's get those out there into the world. All right, so we're gonna do. Oh, I haven't even looked. Okay, no problem. Thank you. Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not quite ready. Give me just a second here. Are we gonna do the Breeders' Cup or no? Okay, so we're just gonna go. I know I'm looking for where they would be. I wish you guys could control this thing for me. Where would they be? Bottom of the D? I
Bottom
don't
D.
see. Just before the C's. Yeah, I'm seeing that. But, well, no, the first thing I see, no, I can't trust that. But the first thing I see is the Breeders' Cup, so it's past that. And then I have K Katya. If my C break is, I don't see it. Oh, C, sorry, can you show me? So that's it? No.
No, it should be.
Right above the C's.
Out of
Yeah,
what?
right here.
This right here. Okay, let's do it. Okay. So this is going to be Breeders' Cup promo. Okay. Okay. What's up? Yes, I see that. Okay. But I'm confused because did Gronk dress up as a cow or did Gronk dress up as Ron Burgundy? Neither? Oh, he did both. God, it must be so cool to be Gronk.
Burgundy was on Fox.
Burgundy was on Fox. Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I think Goldfarb showed me yesterday, I want to say.
I did not see it. I can't wait to see that. What was everybody else? What was
did-
Howie Long?
I don't know. Let's see.
I was like, can we get Howie on today? I wanted to get Howie on.
He loves Aiden O'Connell.
Oh, yeah?
He's huge
I
on
wanted to get him on for this breaking news, but we couldn't get him.
He's still sleeping in Arizona.
Yeah. West Coast is hard.
Yeah.
Did we ever hear back from James? No. Okay. Okay. What were my funniest things that people thought that I was?
Ice Spice.
Nice
What
one.
else? There's.
Randall.
Yep.
Oh, it's Pat.
Pat.
No, it's great.
Randall from Recess. The snitch.
So Daniel Jones's favorite movie is Kicking and Screaming, so we dressed up as that here on the show. And looks like Gronkster, according to NFL Socials, dressed up as Ron Burgundy, huh?
Yes, Kay. Yes, I sure did. But let me tell you, it was a true accident. I'm not lying.
Really?
Here's the situation. Here's the story. I walk in, and every time I walk in the Fox, they have a suit ready for me. They're great. Vicky, she's the best. She gets all my suits ready, all of them polished all up, the shoes all
Amazing.
polished up. I walk in, I'm always excited to see what color suit I have that day. And I walk in, I'm, ooh, all right. You know, you never really had this red velvet color before. You know, I put it on, I get to the set, I'm like, you just started thinking to myself, I'm like, wait a second. This is burgundy. And I feel
Yeah.
like we're burgundy. And she's like, oh my gosh. She's like, you do. And then it was just a coincidence that it was basically the exact same suit that Ron Burgundy wears on the movie. So Anchorman. So I was just like on TV, hey guys, I'm Ron Burgundy. You know, I love him
Edelman's
there.
loving it.
I love him there. I just came up with, you know, obviously the quote about Julian, but just overall, it was a complete coincidence that I was Ron Burgundy, and then I just loved it because Will Ferrell is the absolute man, as you can see, because you dressed up as him as well and Kicking and Screaming. So I know, Kay, you have a ton of guests that you surprise me with, but can you please, I'm begging you, can you please surprise me with Will Ferrell as a guest? With the next surprise guest you have.
I think he's a Seahawks fan. So is that going to work? Because, like, I don't know. Has he lived down the 2015 agony enough to face you? I don't know.
Yeah, but they won the Super Bowl the year before, and let me tell you, if Will Ferrell is on, guess what? We're Seahawks fans for that day. I love the Seahawks. All right?
Will Ferrell. This is
the team of all time.
You're doing the Booker's job. They're going to clip this and say, can we please get Will Ferrell to surprise / not surprise Rob Gronkowski on the show? That would be amazing. He is a big Seahawks fan. They are playing really well. Maybe he will pop on and do that. Did Vicky pick out the cow costume? Did you walk in? Did you like wake up and there was a cow costume standing there, also steamed and ready to go, or what?
No. So I was a cow when I was in high school, about my junior year in high school, and that picture still goes viral all over the place every Halloween. So then Camille surprised me last night. Actually, I was gonna be Shrek. Ralphie was gonna be Donkey, and then Camille was gonna be Princess. What's the name of the princess in the movie Shrek? You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, yes, exactly. And then she went to the store and there's none of those outfits. So then she came back and she goes, open this up. And I open it up and she surprised me with another cow outfit. I was like, oh my gosh, I loved it. It was amazing.
Oh my gosh.
I wore it all night. I actually went to FedEx last night in the cow outfit. I opened the door and the guy just starts shaking his head. He's like, Gronk, you're a cow. And I go, moo. I was like, I know. And he loved it, but he was still shaking his head that I walked in with a cow outfit on. And then on top of it, Ralphie was Snoop Dogg. Camille grabbed an outfit, Snoop Dogg, sent a video to Snoop Dogg, a DM to him saying, yo, Snoop, check out my diggity dog. D-O-double-G, Ralphie Dog. And then Snoop sent a video back of him, you know, doing his thing saying, Ralphie, you the man. I appreciate the love. It was the coolest
That was a good
DM I ever
impression.
got.
That was a good Snoop impression.
I mean, he was kind of, you know, yo, Ralphie, man, you the man. Thank you, dog.
Why were you at FedEx on Halloween? What are you doing? What are you sending?
Well, that's no, Snoop sent that to me. It was pretty cool.
Oh, no,
but
I'm saying, yeah. Why were you at FedEx?
So I went and I had 3 of my friends, they needed a signed jersey for a charity event.
You're
So I
so
said, I'm a
nice.
good guy like that. Send a jersey. I'll send it back out.
And
Not a
Gronk does it
problem.
himself. That is unbelievable. I heard it. I had a fitting the other day for something, and I try on like 19 things. And somebody said we had a fitting with Gronk. He came in. We had 100 things, and he tried one thing on. Goes, this is fine. And walked out.
I do remember that.
That you walked in. You were like, no, this, and they were like, wait, what? And you tried one on, and you were good.
I was good to go. I was good to go.
You
I just had the feel.
You never tried on a Chiefs uniform. It would have been quite something if you did. But let's get into some of these games. AFC West, we talked about the Raiders and all of that. Wait, why did you just do that eyebrow raise about the Chiefs? And see?
I'm not going to try a Chiefs uniform on, Kay. You're going too far now.
I was just trying to segue professionally into these matchups from FedEx and cows and God knows what else. Okay, they have to right the ship, these Chiefs. They lost. They had the flu game that didn't happen with Mahomes and company. This is happening in Germany, okay? Kansas City taking on their old pal, Tyreek Hill, and the Dolphins. How do you think this one shakes out? What are you looking at?
I mean, we got 2 high-powered offenses. They're both 6-2. Obviously, Kansas City is coming off a loss that they really should have never lost to the Denver Broncos. That was their first loss to them, actually, for Patrick Mahomes, which is incredible that they beat him for so long with that type of streak. And then you got the Dolphins, who are just incredible with what Coach McDaniel is doing. That's a McDaniel that hasn't been fired. That won't be fired either, by the way, Kay.
So who wins?
Yes, I just see a great game. I see a great game for the Germany fans. Like, that's the 2 type of teams that you want to bring to Germany. That's the product you want to bring to Germany to get the European market hooked into football. There's no doubt about that. You got star players all over the place. But I see a lot of points being put up on the board. And I see Miami eventually going away with the game as well, because they're just too high powered on the offensive side of the ball. Tyreek Hill, it's not really a revenge game for Tyreek Hill.
No.
I feel like that was a mutual split between 2 of them, because Tyreek wanted to be the highest paid receiver. He got to be the highest paid receiver in Miami. He's also putting up stats that he has never put up in his life. And then also on top of it, Kansas City won a Super Bowl last year. So it was a win-win situation. So the Tyreek Hill versus Kansas City Chiefs, that's not really a storyline, but in back of his mind, Tyreek Hill still wants to show what you're missing out on, because that's just the type of player he is.
Gronk, and no taxes in Florida.
Yeah, no taxes in Florida either. That's why I went down there.
Not Tom Brady. What is that? We're gonna take a departure here. We do have the news that O'Connell is starting. It's not Jimmy Garoppolo. It's official. What do you think? The rookie gets
Really?
a shot.
No way, man. Holy crap. No way. That guy's getting paid $28 million. Man, I need to sign a contract like that and to be the backup 3rd-string tight end, Kay. Oh, my gosh.
Why do you think they did this?
They must not have the trust in Jimmy. There's no doubt about it. Obviously, they see him as a factor of them not winning games. Obviously, they're going to overturn their organization. They're probably starting to weed out the players that they probably don't want on the roster for next year. So they're obviously letting other players build up and get the confidence in them. They kind of need a spark as well. I mean, they lost to the Chicago Bears, with a backup quarterback that was Division II last year. Not saying anything against him, but still, that's brutal. There's no one ready going from a Division II program going into the NFL that should be winning a game. And they beat the Vegas Raiders, so that's bad. So they need to spark bad, and I guess Aiden O'Connell, he's ready to go. He had a little playing time, and obviously they don't trust in Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, they just said it by starting Aiden. There's no trust.
I told you that Mark Davis reportedly talked to his players about decisions that were being made, whether it was the Pierce takeover, whether it was the reshuffling of interim coaches and all of that. Based on this decision, how much power does Davante Adams have? Because this has to be part of what he wanted, I imagine.
Yes, I mean, you don't want to lose a guy like Davante Adams. I'm pretty sure he was probably up on the trade market, but obviously the Raiders didn't trade him. I would say he has a pretty good amount of power for being just a player. Because players, even if you're the best player, star player, it's hard to get power in an organization, especially when you're only there for 2 years. But they paid him to be the highest paid wide receiver in the NFL. So I would say he definitely has some serious pull. There's no doubt about it, because you want to keep him happy. He's putting people in the stands, because who doesn't want to go see him play? He's just a once-in-a-generation talent. So you got to keep him happy. And overall, Davante Adams, if he's saying something, you got to listen, because you brought him in here to win, and he wants to win as well. So, hey, whatever Davante Adams says, I guess you got to listen.
We have other quarterback news. Do you want to chew on this for a second? Taylor Heineke, I believe, is going to get the start. Ian Rappaport reporting this. The Falcons expected to start him per Arthur Smith over Ritter. All right. Who do the Falcons even have? That would be good to know.
Yeah, I think that's a good play. Ritter,
who do they have?
Ritter isn't that electric, Kay. He doesn't really bring it to the table of boosting everyone up around him. He's got all these star players around him.
Yeah.
Tyler Heineke is a guy that can boost all the players around him. He's kind of electric. I played him when he first started in that playoff game for the Commanders, and I was on the Buccaneers. I was literally looking on the other side. I'm like, who is this guy? He's boosting up that team. He's boosting up the team morale.
Chase Young was like picking him up and like shaking him, like, you're the man. I was like, what's going on here? I remember that game.
So that's the type of guy Heineke is. I think that's a great play for the Falcons to give them a little boost, because they're in contention to make the playoffs and be in first place.
They're top of the division. They got to keep it going, and they got to like shake it up a little bit. So he's a guy that has those sort of intrinsic values of like get it together and hopefully execute. Like you're saying, they've got Bijan. They just got to give Bijan the ball. Like let's do that, Falcons. All right, I want to get to a couple of other big games and get your quick thoughts on them, and go back to, let's go from the AFC. We talked Chiefs Dolphins. What do you make of Cowboys Eagles? This should be quite a battle going on. I talked about the kicker. I don't know if you heard that story. It's very cool. But what are you excited about in this matchup?
I'm excited to see, two solid teams playing each other. Two teams that are kind of up and down, but they're at the top of the NFL. There's no doubt about that. And Micah Parsons, I want to see him stop that tush push. I'm giving him the challenge of being the first player to legitimately stopping the tush push. We want to see it stop. Now they're doing fakes off of it. He's the only guy, I think, in the NFL that can bring enough attitude to the table to stop it and show up the Eagles. So we will see what happens there.
I feel like you could stop the tush push.
I could. I would jump over the line, and I would just give Jalen Hurts a stone cold stunner right to the ground.
On that note, short break here. We'll be back to wrap it up with Gronk. We've got Ronnie Stanley on the show talking about some really amazing things he's doing in the community. Ravens are atop the AFC North. And he's going to talk about puppies like Ralphie next. Cool. I see that. Are we doing the pancake block still or no? Do you want to do the pancake block still? So will Gronk just sort of will intro the Ronnie, and he'll be gone off the backside? Okay. Okay, so Ralphie's not coming on until the back of it? Yeah, if we could get that Taylor Heineke out like right now, it would only make sense right now. Otherwise, it'll be like late, but that like very like, oh, we just handled the live news. That's pretty cool. Let's do that. Thanks. Gronk off the cuff is so good. So good. He's killing it. What's up? Oh, thanks. I'm like, oh no. Okay, so we come in, we show and it was the, I need you to be more specific on this question 8 that you have in your script. What game? What was it? Just what game was it in? A couple weeks ago doesn't really help me. Yeah, put that in there. Thank you. No problem. No problem. Cool. I think we were doing our fitting for this thing, and whatever, and they were like, oh, we had Gronk on, we were dressing Gronk for something, and they were like, we pulled all this stuff because they were dressing his girlfriend, and then first outfit, and they were like, okay, low maintenance king, and I was like,
he's like, this is great, thanks guys. Boys, man.
So good.
So funny.
I got there only if it's like something I do, like People Magazine. I'd walk in and I would not know what I was wearing, and I was like, it was just every day. It was too much to even think about it. So it was like, fine. It's fun to like not care.
Yeah.
It's very rare, especially if it's like for like a Super Bowl something. Like then you like obsess over like F1. What are you wearing?
Oh, F1's got to be like the biggest red carpet event,
You think?
fashion-wise for sports.
It's gonna be. It's at 10 p.m.
10 p.m.
I think the race is at 10 p.m.
It's only the best races happen at night.
Is that true? Best horses around the world compete. This is their Super Bowl. Horsies, not Gronkowskis, but horses, guys. They're at the Breeders' Cup. Coverage begins live from Santa Anita Racetrack on Friday at noon Eastern on FanDuel TV. Gronk, we want to talk a little bit about the Ravens. One of their longest tenured players pulled a U, my friend, a couple of weeks ago. This was against the Lions. How would you rate this pancake block by Ronnie Stanley? Let's take a look.
Where's he at? Where's Ronnie? Oh, there he is. He's pulling. Oh, all right, Ronnie. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Tossing fools out of the club that need to be tossed out of the club. Right there. Yeah. Ronnie, you a big boy, my man. You can't be doing that to these little guys. You too big, man. I love it, Ronnie. Good job. You got some power, some ambitious. Oh, I got to give you some credit. You know, you don't really see that in the NFL, no matter who it is. To be able to take someone and toss them that far is something special. And to tell you the truth, the fans love it as well. So I didn't see that. That's the first time I saw that. So, Ronnie, you an absolute savage and beast.
But he's so nice, and he does these great things, too. So he does that kind of like Gronk did out there, and Gronk does a lot in the community. And we like to, of course, give love to people who do their thing. You'll appreciate this. Ronnie Stanley, they're like the strong, silent type when they're not bouncing guys out of the club, but their good deeds do not go unnoticed. Ronnie Stanley, we caught you doing some incredible things with puppies.
Ronnie, players like you think you can just get away with anything. You think nobody's going to catch you, like nobody's going to see. You think helping match dogs with chronically disabled veterans, first responders, people in need, you thought you were just going to get away with that, Ronnie?
Try my best.
Talk to me about Ronnie Stanley Foundation and everything you've done so far, because the quote I love, people helping animals and animals helping people.
Yeah, and I think that's, the easiest, best way to describe it. And it all started with me adopting a dog from a shelter my rookie year. That was something, I didn't really know how it was going to end up. And, I thought I was just doing a good thing, helping an animal in need. But come to find out that it was really great for my own mental health and overall well-being. And I knew this would be, a great thing for a lot of people out there that are dealing with various amounts of, anxiety, disabilities, like you said. And I wanted to be able to bridge that gap and be able to take dogs from shelters and, eventually other animals and get them the proper training to be able to assimilate into, a normal environment.
I want to talk to you a little bit about your first adoption story with Nakira, who is a young, brave, wonderful girl who has sickle cell anemia, and you matched her with a pup named Lyric.
Yeah, and we just did a shoot with Lyric the other day, and I see them from time to time at events, and it's always great to catch up. And those two sisters they get older every time I see them, and they're just as much in love with Lyric as they were the first day, and every time they always have great things to say and how Lyric has been making their lives better, and yeah, it just definitely brings back the realization that I'm doing something that is meaningful, and it's a win-win situation for both the animals and humans.
I know it's not all that you do. I know you're up in schools, talking to kids, doing your thing. Why don't try to get away with all this stuff, Stanley?
Yeah, I try to do all this stuff on the low, but educating kids and adults on how to handle these animals and how to approach social situations, and introducing their dog to another dog. To be able to do that properly always leads to a better outcome in the end.
We love what you're doing here, me and my producers and my team, and we think you're incredible on and off the field, and it's so important. So we are telling you that we are donating $1,000 to the Ronnie Stanley Foundation today.
Wow, thank you. That's amazing. That's you guys are far too kind. You don't have to do that. I really appreciate it.
Amazing to see. If you want to support what Ronnie is doing and what he does, hit the QR code, this thing right here on the screen. You can help someone if you need. We're happy to give $1,000 to that cause. Now, we got to say bye to Gronk. We've got less than a minute left, but Gronk, don't think you're going to get away with not talking about being inducted into the Arizona Wildcats Football Hall of Fame this weekend. Homecoming game, UCLA Saturday. Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much. It's my first Hall of Fame I'm getting inducted to. And Arizona football right now, 5-3, on the verge of getting a bowl game bid. If they win this game, they'll have 6 wins, and hopefully they go to the LA Bowl, hosted by yours truly, Gronk, baby. Let's go, okay?
Do you make a speech?
Arizona.
Are you making a speech?
Yes, I'll be making a speech. I'm actually going to be writing it right after this show, so that's what I'm going to be working on. So thank you for warming me up today.
I love that. I don't know if you're going to wear the Ron Burgundy outfit, the cow costume. I don't know what your fit's going to be, but we are excited to see that and hear that, and that's amazing. Well, long before your NFL career, All-American, incredible career that deserves the love. So enjoy that on Saturday. That's cool.
Thank you, Kay. I'll be representing Antonio Pierce as well, because he's a fellow U of A Wildcat. So Antonio Pierce, let's show everyone this weekend what's up with Wildcats.
Go Raiders, apparently. No, we have Daniel Jones on our show every week. We need him to win. If he doesn't win, it's a horrifying situation for us on Tuesdays. Thanks to Gronk, another amazing Gronk day. Go play our parlay, just 2 legs, over at FanDuel Sportsbook for tomorrow night. Bye, guys. Bye, Gronk.